Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. Obviously, you were in the right place. We had a great week last week. My name is Scrubber.
Hey, man, BH here. Welcome, everybody. What a game. What a game. Hey, we got a lot to talk about, so stick around.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. It's a great week last week. We got a great show for you today. We're going to go over some different things. We're going to show you some highlights today. I think we're going to touch on some fantasy. I think that's important. You guys like that. We're going to go over the game, cover a lot of the fundamentals. BH has got some injury report kind of stuff for us. That's important. And then we're going to touch on our last week's prediction, and then we're going to do this week's prediction for the Saints game. And then towards the end, we have some scheduling that we'd like you to know about too. So,
yeah, we got some important announcements coming up towards the end here of what we're going to be touching on. But for now, man, let's look at some highlights.
Yeah.
Well, we both took a loss.
We did.
That's no good. You're hanging in there. You're in fourth place, so you're still in the playoff bubble. I slipped down to 6, so that was tough. Yeah, I got wrapped pretty good. I really wasn't even close. But looking up now, next week you gotta play the Bums. Now they're the number 2 team.
Yeah, and
I'm playing the number 5 team, but I'm feeling pretty good. I just think that I'm having the same issues as last week. As I'm really hurting at running back, and that's really driven by the fact that McCaffrey's out. I burnt my number 1 pick on McCaffrey.
Yep.
That was a lot of draft capital, and now that he's out, I'm relying on wide receivers, and I'm actually going to use a wide receiver in my flex, which I don't normally do. But my running backs are just, I've got, Javonte Williams there, and he's just not going to be enough. I got Connor from Arizona and Kareem Hunt starting.
Yeah, Connor did well.
Yeah, he did really. I just got
better with the Cardinals than he did with the Steelers.
Oh, yeah. He's really, the only thing with him, he's so touchdown dependent. But I will say this: they got their offense is getting down there and getting really good. So yeah, I got to improve. I'm really obviously wide receiver. I got Justin Jefferson. I got Kyler Murray. I got Waller at tight end. So I got a lot of good guys in those positions. I just really need my running backs to get going.
Well, I faltered last week because Logan Thomas is my tight end, and so he took one at the beginning of the game, and I didn't know what happened to him. And then, of course, my opponent's last guy was Eckler for San Diego, and he just totally crushed it. I don't even think having Logan Thomas would even have helped me. So
it was pretty brutal. So looking, and I once again, DeAndre Swift looked really good last week, like he was going to be the man. And then they shifted up and went with Williams, gave him a bunch of carries. And so it's sort of flighty there. Now you're kind of like me. You're top heavy, man. You got Mahomes, DK Metcalf, and DeAndre Hopkins, who had a bit of a down game, but you're really strong at the top. Still got Brandon Cooks. I like that. Justin Tucker and Baltimore's defense, they're going to always give you a good floor.
Yep.
I guess
the only thing people.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I can see for you is just hit that waiver wire and go look at a free agent wire, and you might need to pick up a backup tight end.
I got that.
Yeah,
Hunter Henry. Who's my other one? Hunter Hurts.
Hunter Henry. Oh yeah.
He's my backup. If Logan's no good, I'll just throw him in there. That's fine with me. I think I can hold with what I got.
I think so. I think you're strong all the way across the board there. So, we'll just see what happens, man. That's fantasy.
That's fantasy. All right. Speaking of good across the board, that was a good game that we just had against the Falcons. Very happy with that. So lots of good things happened. So the arc of the game for our team looked really, really good. They grew. You could see it again. You could see them growing during this game. It was insane. So from beginning to end, I felt like one of the key things out of the front was that they marched down on us and they scored, but it was only a field goal.
Yeah.
On that first drive. So it wasn't a touchdown. The boys bowed up and stopped them for a field goal. So to me, that was super exciting. So
yeah, we were just talking about how the first 4 games of the year, the opening drives went down for touchdowns. Really disconcerting. So yeah, that's an improvement. And yeah, we did see the arc of improvement on both offense and defense. It's like the offense put drives together. They spread the ball out, all over. The defense just seemed to, tighten up, a little loose here and there, but all of a sudden they started to control that line. You saw them getting, instead of being out of position in these zones, they seem to be right there. I was kind of talking a lot about how I like the way that the Cowboys did their zone. They were playing zone, but my gosh, every time the ball came to receivers, the guy was in his zone and was there to make a play. Yeah. And so we saw that. Yeah. And I think, we saw not just the arc of improvement, but we saw improvements, I would say, everywhere.
Yes.
that you and I were concerned about.
Yeah.
I mean, we a big one is defense. Let's go there. It was
Okay.
very disconcerting to see last time no sacks, 2 passes defended, and 2 tackles for loss. I think we saw for a whole football game.
Yeah.
And this week, all of a sudden, we did get 1 sack. Montez Sweat got the sack.
Yeah, he
and
did.
then I think, and how else did we do? I mean, I think we improved.
I think we got 5 passes defended and like 6 tackles for loss or something like that. So and a lot of just 1s and 2s as well. I think those can be counted in just because it wasn't a tackle for loss. It, on that left side as the Falcons were trying to rush, that left side was shut down. And they're only get 1s and 2s there. So that's good as well.
Yeah. And then to go from 2 to 6 tackles for loss, that's really what this defensive line should be doing. They're that good. I still don't understand exactly what's happening there. Players, scheme, whatever. But they really should dominate. They're that good. So we saw great improvement there.
Yeah.
I think we saw Taylor Heineke. We saw improvement. We saw there were some throws that probably could have been picked. He was putting them in, but overall, I mean, everyone would have to agree that's an improved performance for that young man.
It really was. I will say though, and I said it last week too, watching that last game, he needs to put a slight more zip on that ball. And McLaren's fast, and so I think he's still trying to judge how fast he was, because I've seen one just kind of, now they're not rainbows, but they're not zipping in, and so you can see McLaren is like, whoa, he's like waiting for it to get him, and the defender is coming right to it. Slight more zip is all, and like you said, maybe a little, that high, and but he did great, and not only he masterminded several drives that were just amazing, especially towards the end of the game. I mean, those were 8 and 10 play drives that were being extended and using different players to do different things. He took command.
He really did. And that's kind of what we talked about. One of our things was, it's great to have these plays that pop and you get a big play. But we'd rather just see them. I mean, nothing wrong with those plays, but we'd rather see them grow and dominate, control the clock, and also put that in the defensive players' minds for the other team, that they got to cover a lot of area, that they got to watch a lot of it. We're not zoning in on one guy. We're moving it all around. And it just plays to you. It just helps you so much that they have to think about watching every guy out there, because we're not just shoveling it to one guy on every play. And it just helps. Really, puts them on their back heels. And I really did, going back to Heineke, can't say enough about him. The things that I saw, and just one, to your point about having zip on the ball, two things was, especially with Terry McLaurin, I saw a couple times, he didn't get the ball out soon enough either. The routes, and the route was there, and you got to learn to release that ball, because, what I noticed a couple times, it might have not even been the zip part of it, is that he was open and he should have been thrown. And then when he throws it, the safety's coming over, and now it's a battle when it never should have been. So I did notice a little bit of that too. And I think a lot of
that's
him,
probably what I'm saying.
No, but he did kind of try, and, he did have some balls that didn't have the zip. And we've seen him rifle balls. And so a lot of that probably too is just, his confidence, building confidence to really let it rip. And so that'll just get better, because he really can zing it in there.
Those time passes are hard to do. It takes
a
lot of skill doing that, to be able to, you have to throw it blind to what's going on. You have to trust that person is going to be in that spot. Again, I hate going back to the Seahawks, but it was one of the things that RW doesn't do very well, in my opinion. That timed pass. You have to have that. If he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and button to the right and be standing on that 19-yard line, boy, you get it there, so that right when he turns around, it's on him. RW has to wait a lot of times until he sees somebody's about to get open and then hit him. So he's relying on speedsters and Metcalf and people like that to get that done. Whereas Heineke, it looks like he's learning this. And I think with Curtis Samuel, who was out there, You know,
Thank
I
goodness.
badmouthed Curtis Samuel before, injury people. He just looked like one of
Mhm.
them, but he was out there. He did great. Like you said, Heineke spread the ball around. Humphreys just popped out of nowhere,
Yeah,
like late in the fourth quarter.
he was. Yeah.
That was crazy. We DeAndre Carter showed up late in the fourth quarter on that one drive. Like you said, they mixed it up on them boys. And
They really did. And I know they had to who was the backup tight? Ricky Seals was in. I know he had a couple struggles, but boy, he made a great play. I think it was for a first down where he took that ball, juked that guy, and went upfield. So he really showed something there. I have a feeling he's going to be. I think he's going to be the number one tight end this week.
Really?
I think. I'm not so sure Logan's going to play.
Okay.
I think he'll be the number one guy. And so I think
what about
now
John Bates? Because I don't remember seeing him last week. Bates.
Yeah, it'll be. I think he was suited up.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it'll be him, Bates, and Sammy Reyes.
God, I'd love to see Sammy Reyes suit up, dude. Just to block.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think he'll be. I think he won't get. I don't think he'll be inactive. I think they'll want three guys. Yeah, just to block. Why not get him out there? And boy, we can see some power running. But I think it'll be good for Ricky Seals Jones. He'll be probably getting a lot of first team reps. He'll see the game plan, which is really important. Like, here's the game plan, and he'll get to see it. So he'll have a little more confidence. I know he had some drops, but he's a pro. He's got to make those catches. But man, it's just tough when you don't get reps, and when you're and it's easy to say, hey, you're out the field, it's your time, make the play, and it just makes it tough when you're not the guy getting it a lot. But and he's kind of a young guy. I think he's only 26 still. I was kind of surprised by that. So we'll see him. And but to the big point is that Taylor Heineke improved. He grew. He mixed the ball around. He had a lot of fun plays, and most importantly, is he controlled the drives and he ran well.
He did. The running
was great. I mean, and he really went. I mean, when he had his runs, I watched him. He was good. And the best part was, I think the coaches really instructed him on getting out of bounds and getting on the ground. Can't tell you how many times he broke off for a run where as the defenders were coming up, he did a slide. Or as he was going wide, he got his 6-7 yards and he ran out of bounds. And I think they really hammered that home to him. Mm-hmm. Don't be a hero. Don't try and take it up. Don't put your head down and try and get a yard. And I think with that, I think he took that, and they're saying, yeah, you can run, dude. Run. We don't care. But don't get killed. And he seemed very confident. And every time he did not put himself in danger. So I think that's a thing going forward. I think that's really, and teams are going to have to watch out for that. And as he gets confidence, we talked about it before, Daniel Jones, who's, not a great athlete or anything special, but boy, Daniel Jones always kind of sees the way the play's going and which parts of the field get vacated. And if his receivers are covered, he knows instinctively, oh my gosh, I know the safety's taking that guy. I'm just going to go right out here and get 6 quick yards. So anyway, that's really that's going to help Taylor Heineke a lot.
When we got burned by that, he probably watched the film. He's probably going, well, I can do that too, which is a legit thing. If you can open up one more facet of your offense and get that guy be a wild card as well, like you said, you want to make that defense watch what the hell you're doing. So I think we had some good motion stuff. I think we kept their defense busy this time with our people. So
we did
make them work a little bit. So, and our front line did great. I think they only sacked him once, right?
I think so. Yeah. They came in, they had some good pressure on him. But he handled it. What I like about him, he's not a run first guy. He just runs when he has to, because he's just the kind of guy that wants to chuck the rock. Yeah. But he did good under pressure. He doesn't wilt. He's always
no
trying
fumbles,
to,
no interceptions.
No, he likes
ball control.
Yeah, likes to move. Even when the pressure's coming, I see him in the pocket. He does something that's kind of interesting. I watched him a few times do this technique. When he throws the ball, normally, he's got nice technique. Steps into it and throws. And I noticed him not just dink passes, but even some mid-range passes as he was back there and the offensive line was getting pushed into him, or a player was coming at him. He did throw off his back foot, which is not recommended. You don't want to be doing that. But what he did was he compensated with his arm strength. Like he knew what he was doing. He knew going backwards, throwing, and he's going to have to pump it. I'm going to lose a little bit. And he threw some 15, 20 yarders a couple times doing. I thought, well, that's really cool. Kind of Aaron Rodgers will do that. He doesn't have an Aaron Rodgers arm, but it's a technique you can use if you've got a strong arm. And Heineke does. He's got a strong enough arm to where if you're being pushed back and you can't step into it, you make up for it by jacking it up. So that was kind of cool to see. I mean, you don't want guys flailing backwards and trying to chuck it off their back foot. But I kind of liked his technique there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Then he a couple stats that promote some of this stuff is when we played the Ravens, our third down conversion was 9%. When we played against the Falcons, it was 44%. So they're making the third downs.
Thank goodness.
And we didn't have to go for it on fourth. Maybe we did that one. I think Diami Brown or Curtis Samuel got us the first.
Yes.
So that was good. That was a chance they took and they made it count. Also, time of possession. I think against the Ravens, they had 40 minutes or 42, and we had like freaking 18 of possession. But this time it was about 30-30. I think it was like 30 to 30 to 29 something. So we had an even amount, which shows that those drives are being sustained.
Yep.
And they're chewing up clock. You have to chew up clock too. Your boy, we talked about this. Your defense cannot be out there all the time. Who cares if you got, the DeAndre Carter thing was awesome. Now that's a 100-yard run, but you don't want to get, a 3-play touchdown as an offense, because then your defense is just going right back out there again.
Yeah.
And then they'll play, and the other team will just drive on your defense and make them tired. So I thought that was awesome. Yards per play increased from 3.8 to 6.6.
Jeez.
Those are good stats. I could have picked out a bunch, but those were like the three biggies for me: time of possession, third down percentage, and yards per play.
Yeah. I think, and once again, and so this all goes to what we were talking about, specifically to fundamentals. You're saying that's the importance of controlling a long drive, because you are resting your defense. You are getting time possession. You're eating up that clock. It's just all so important. And that's what they were doing. They need to keep doing it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it means that Heineke's probably getting good with the system. Him and what's his name are gelling together, making this stuff work. Yeah. Scott Turner.
Yeah.
So I really liked his interview when I saw him. He's just waiting. Just this stuff has to develop, and they're starting to do good. So as long as some of our injuries don't hurt us too bad. So we did have some boys get hurt in this game.
Wow. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
It looks like, the two biggest ones were Bostic, the linebacker. I think I haven't heard it officially, but he's out. And then McTire got hurt on that, I think, the last play.
Last play of the game.
Yeah, I know. That sucks. I guess the only thing, if there's a silver lining on the McTire injury, it's early enough in the season, and the way injuries are anymore, science has improved so much. If he gets a good operation, if there's also not a lot of other damage in there, perhaps, the swelling goes down, and it's just sort of that ligament. If he, I don't know, I think it was an ACL, but if he can get it repaired, good, and he just, gets out there and rehabs the hell out of it, he'll be ready.
Cool.
He'll be out there. I think he'll be back. So, hopefully everything goes well for him. Now, the other ones that are the biggest ones, I think, are Logan Thomas for the hamstring. Yeah, you got screwed on that one, man. He was, I think it was 5 minutes into the game.
I know.
He was gone, poor guy. Now they're labeling him as week to week. Hamstrings are a pain in the butt because they'll linger. Sometimes you have to make the call. Your trainer has to say, look, he could play, but give him a week off. Because this, if he does it again, now we're really in trouble.
Yeah.
So anyway, they'll look at it, they'll evaluate it, but keep an eye on that, especially Scrubber from a fantasy standpoint. That's going to impact you, man.
Yep.
So let's look at. So hopefully we'll see. He's week to week. And the other one is Brandon Scherf, the offensive lineman, probably our best offensive lineman. Now he's 2 weeks. He strained a knee ligament, I think. So it's a strain. So they're going to probably give him 2 full weeks. It could be more. So at this point, they're going to Schweitzer's going to come in. I think he's going to take over there, and that means that Shadiq Charles, I think will be. I think he's been actually inactive every week.
Yes, he's been on the injury reserve, I believe, or on the injury report.
Yeah, and he's ready to go. I think they're bringing. Cool. I think he'll actually be the swing guard. So Schweitzer will start. So that's good. So they'll be in there.
The front line has been doing really good.
They really have. So I'm wondering. So I'm trying to think. Diami Brown tweaked his knee, and I know Antonio Gibson he got tweaked a little bit. I suspect those two. He
took a low shot.
Yeah, I think those 2 players, you'll see them listed as questionable, and then they'll just play the game. I really believe that. Well, if anything changes, make sure you check those inactive lists. Before the games, because those things. But I think they're both going to play. I think that's just standard football, minor injuries. But these other ones, are tough. Now with McTire out, they brought Danny Johnson onto the practice squad. He's as experienced. He was here in camp and preseason. Now another guy they brought in was Jordan. Let me see if I can say this right. Kanashik.
Oh yeah,
K-U-N.
He was an animal in the preseason.
Yeah, he really was. And he played with Coach Ron in Carolina. He's got a great background. He's one of those guys that plays with a lot of heart, has a lot of spunk. But let's see what happens. There's something that's not there with him yet as a football player, because someone else would have played him. If Coach Ron has him, he'd have been on the team. I mean, if Coach knows him, but he's just, there's something. He just hasn't quite hit the level he needs to be an NFL linebacker. Right. Well, now he's going to be playing because I think Bostic's out for the year.
Yeah,
so
muscle or something tore. Those are hard. You can't tackle if it's torn,
and it hurts. It hurts like hell every time you play. So anyway, there's a few backups. I think Danny Johnson can go in there, and there's other DBs that'll move up. Danny Johnson will probably be inactive, I would guess, but let's just see how it all plays out in practice. So replacing McTire, I don't think will be a big deal. Nope. I'm just going to say this for Bostic. I've been looking around at Pro Football Focus. They have some great player rankings. I like them a lot. Check those out. They're actually fun to read. They have their own system of ranking every player and how he plays on every play. Some people are critical. Some people don't like what they use to rank a player. The way I look at it is they're consistent. So everyone gets ranked the same. So whether you like it or not, at least everyone's being judged on the same techniques, the same kind of things. John Bostic, and John Bostic has struggled. You can see that sometimes. I feel he's a heck of a good tackler. I mean, when he gets to the play, he's a good tackler. I like that about him. He's a heady guy. He's smart. He's probably very helpful back there on the D. People don't ever give him credit for that. He's a veteran. But, man, he's really on his all-around coverage is pretty bad, and even run stopping isn't the greatest. They're pretty low score. But, I think he's kept around for other reasons that I talked about, his leadership, his smartness, he knows where to be. Yeah. So it might not, never wishing for anyone to get hurt or anything. It'll be interesting to see maybe someone can step up. Jamin Davis only plays about 48% of the snaps. Well, now he's going to probably be playing about 78% of the snaps. We're going to see a lot of Jamin Davis. Yeah. We might see this young guy. So we're going to see who they put at linebacker. I think, I would probably see Kanashik will probably suit up, not necessarily start. He'll get some reps out there. He'll promote someone else up into that spot. We'll see how it all goes.
Who will be the 3 linebackers? Holcomb, Jamin Davis.
And I'm trying to think who would be next on the depth chart.
Is that Ioannidis guy? He's a linebacker?
No, right? No, Ioannidis is D-line. So we'll have to look into that. That'll be interesting to see who steps up.
Wise. He was a defensive end too.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I'm trying to think who the backup linebacker would be because I don't think Kanashik's going to come in and start. Although he's got great coverage skills, he does a very good job. And see, that's kind of where we're getting killed a lot is in coverage around the linebacker in those zone areas. It's it's hard to track guys on when they're going over the middle sometimes into your zone. You got to be able to stay with those guys, and also offenses set up their plays to take advantage of that, take advantage of a linebacker in coverage if they can. And I'm sure they did that with Bostic. So, well, who knows? Maybe the silver lining is we get faster, quicker linebackers.
Yeah, that's what Holcomb and Jamin Davis are supposed to be. They're supposed to be those flexy kind of guys. And I think they did a little better this last week with that over the middle stuff. I felt like the pressure was better.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of lineups where we had 3 guys down and 2 defensive ends. And that really put the pressure on Matty Ice. And I think our coverage over the middle was good. It looked like Bobby McCain was in there on a couple. Cam Curl was in there just right on him. Of course, I swear to God, every penalty that William Jackson III has taken in the first 4 games were not penalties. He just covers that close.
I know.
He's that good. That one penalty they threw on him.
Johnny, I lost you.
What the hell?
I lost you for a second.
Oh, am I gone?
Yeah. Oh, you're back. Your audio cut out.
My audio cut out. Okay. Am I here?
Okay. Yeah, you're back 100%. I don't know what happened. I've never seen that before.
Oh, that's
okay. So I think you'll be able. You made a good point about William Jackson. I think you'll be able to cut it, no problem. You said something about him, and every one of them's been kind of.
Oh, it was about William Jackson. Is his coverage is really tight. It's very very tight, and he got flagged for one. I think it was the one he was running with the guy, and he kind of turned around and did this, and I don't even remember him touching him. It looked like a phantom touch, and the same with the Chase Young got that hand to the face on that 4th and 2, and it didn't even look like it touched his face. It looked like it hit Matty Ice's arm and stopped before it got up to his thing. And even so, it was just so.
I know, it's so weird, wasn't it? Yeah, and poor William Jackson, I feel bad for him, man. It just seems like they're like going out of their way, like he can't play a tough brand of football, and it just doesn't seem fair. So, well,
but in that area, we did good with our penalties. So we had a couple. That one was like a long distance one. We only had like 6 of them, but a couple of them were like 28-yard penalty when you get a pass interference. So
right. Oh, you know what? Let's take a break.
Yeah,
I got the tornado warning going outside my window.
Very good.
So,
and did we sign a kicker too?
Yeah. We brought a guy in. Actually, has no NFL experience, preseason experience, not played in a game. So once again, it kind of shows coaches saying, "Hey, Hopkins is my kicker." He's saying it, but on the other side, they're bringing another guy in just to be sure, because you can't miss 2 out of 3 extra points, man.
Nope,
just can't do it. So
I am about that. So
we're looking at, if you're looking at player spotlights, I'm looking at Hopkins and the thumbs down a little bit on him. So in a game that really had a lot of positives, that's a guy that needs to pick it up.
He missed 2 of them PATs. And they were both, at least he was consistent on it. In the very end of the last game against the Ravens, they were offsides. He kicked it. He was a little wide right. And then the second one, he kicked again. It would just barely made it through on that right side. And then the 2 he missed in this last game here, one was just barely wide right. And then the second one dinked it. I mean, you could give him extra credit for at least being consistent in where he's placing the ball. So that's fine with me. But, I'm glad they're looking at somebody else. Sometimes that lights a fire under you. But it's hard to light. You can't light a fire under a kicker like that. So
can't do it, man.
It just makes him more nervous. It just makes him more fucked up.
Yeah.
So they're just not going to do it. So. But we did see some good plays come out of there.
Yeah, we sure
did. Good players, some
we did.
Standout people. So,
yeah, who stood out? Well, who stood out in your mind on the positive side?
Of course, Taylor Heineke did.
Yep.
As far as moving the ball around, I felt like J.D. McKissick was super standout. I feel like they rely on him a little too heavy.
Yeah.
So, but he did get the job done, and he just knows what to do with the ball when he gets it. He knows
He really does.
north and south. So, he's got good ball control, reliable. Man, I thought he did, and anybody in the wide receiver core. I mean,
yeah, he did, but I really did. I mean, J.D. McKissick is such a valuable piece. I even saw a great play where he did, well, both him and Gibson on plays picked up the blitz.
Yeah,
really well, squared up on their guys.
He did.
And took them down. So he did that. It was nice to see Gibson do that. But yeah, JD, just overall his play is solid. But then on the icing on the cake, the cherry on top was that killer play at the end where he went in for the touchdown. And that play was hilarious, dude, because, say what you want about Heineke, man, that he threw that ball backwards and sideways. I never seen anyone roll out so far left and throw the other way. I've never seen it in my life, and I've seen football for over 50 years. So that was hilarious. Yeah. That was cool. And then, of course, you put that with that crazy chuck and duck that he did in the end zone to Terry McLaurin. Say what you will, man.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Hey, he's a lot of fun. Say what you will, but you got to watch that kind of stuff. It doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work. Thank God it was McLaurin down there who was really aggressive towards the ball.
Yeah,
that guy, that was pass interference all over the place there. Anyway,
gee whiz, dude!
He was tackling him, and he broke away from it just to catch the ball.
Oh, from every angle it was. And then I saw one from the behind the end zone angle, and the guy he was hooked. I'm sure William Jackson III was watching that going,
wait a minute,
looking up at the scoreboard going, wait, what happened, bro?
Do they not throw the flag because they see it's a touchdown? Shouldn't you throw the flag anyways?
You throw the flag no matter what. If the whistle blows, if anything happens, if the guy went out of bounds and came back in, you still call it and then you figure out at the end.
And they didn't call a flag on that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Should have definitely called the flag.
Great job by McLaurin.
Yeah, and I guess in a way you could tell, Heineke, you could say, hey, you know what? I trust that guy. Personally, I would say, don't do that again.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's a guy you could chuck it up to because he's going to fight for it. So I'm trying to think, as far as overall standouts, I think Antonio Gibson really did a good job. I still want to see. I think that guy getting more touches is just good. They know more than we do. I get it, and maybe they're building up to it. I just think he's a much more dynamic back. I mean, hey, if Austin Ekeler can get that many touches, damn it, Antonio Gibson can get that many. Hell, think about this. Cordell Patterson. I mean, he had 6 looks in the passing game, and he got 5 of them, and we saw what he did. And Antonio Gibson got 2 looks and caught 2 passes. I mean, to me, come on, I'm just going to keep hammering this.
You're right.
I'll give deference to the coaches. They're behind the scenes. They know what's going on. But I just think when that improves, when he gets the touches, when he's in the passing game, I see this offense get more and more and more dynamic.
Utilizing him the way he's supposed to be utilized.
Yes, exactly. So, well, I think we kind of touched on. I mean, we could just go. I mean, a lot of superlatives, really not a lot of negatives. I know our boy Hopkins has got to turn things around. But overall, I think we saw some really good things. So,
DeAndre Carter.
Oh gosh, I'm glad you brought him up.
That guy, unbelievable. He just has such focus. He knows the game. It's amazing to watch people like that. They know every aspect of the game. They're watching every part of the field. They know how much time is on the clock. They know what down it is. They know what yard line they're on. They know how fast the ball's coming, how high it went. He's just amazing to watch.
Yeah. And I think, man, he'd be another guy I always talk about, I'm always saying it. You got to throw that bomb. You got to get your burner downfield early in the game and just chuck one, scare the hell out of those safeties, push them back, scare those corners, make them take 2 steps backwards. And Carter be a great guy to do that. He showed great speed and stuff in that catch. I think it was 24-yard catch that he had.
He did later in the game. Yeah.
I loved it. gosh, bring him in a little more on those big wide receiver sets. Why not? Give him a chance. I mean, if anything, you just take the top off the defense and we'll get 10-yard underneath routes all day.
And he's guaranteed to catch it. He's like McKissick. These guys who field the punts, the guys who field the kicks are trained to watch the ball and catch it. And it's more so even than like wide receivers almost, I would say. It's a harder thing to do.
It's tough. Yeah, it's really tough. And you're especially
really
on punts.
Good at it, dude. And DeAndre, he's such a relief to have down there. You kind of almost know he's not going to bobble it, or he's not going to take the chance of doing some weird thing of trying to catch it on the bounce or something. You see, he's just like, I'm not going near that thing. You know what I'm saying? You need that more than you need, or as much as you need somebody to be able to run the north-south 100 yards. You still need somebody who's going to know when to field it, comfortable that they're going to catch it. And he covers all aspects of that return type of game and can be a receiver as well.
I'm glad you remembered him and brought him up, because he really does need props, because you could see, just that one catch, maybe the coaches see that and go, hey, we're doing 4 and 5 wide receiver sets. Let's put him in. Yeah. Let's see what we can do with him. Let's get him out there. So that's good. And the other thing that I like about him is, on kickoffs, kick returners just get to see it go in the end zone. The ref blows the whistle and they walk away. And I saw so many times where it was so close. And to your point, he does what the coaches tell him. And he's like, it's like about a yard in the end zone. It's coming. And in his brain, he's going, oh, God, let me take this. And a lot of times he watches it bounce because that's what he's instructed to do. And I seen him kick the ground. Like, damn it. Like, he's not mad at the coaches, not mad at anything. He's just like, oh, man. And
I wanted to return that. He's mad that he didn't get to. You can see that he's not. You're right. He's not mad in any other way. He just wants to perform, and he just wants to do his thing. And when he doesn't get to, he gets mad. So
and the great thing about him, unlike a lot of guys who say, "Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball," and then they drop it when you give him the ball. Yeah. Well, what he did, he took it to the house. So a lot of good things to talk about.
By surprise, because the second half was coming in, and I'm just babbling away, and it's probably had been up on the screen for a while, and I finally look over and go, holy, what the hell, we scored. And so that was exciting for me. So that really pumped me up for the second half of that game. So all the guys did really good. Very happy about all that stuff. So
good deal. Well, that we got to put that one behind us. As much fun as it is to talk about. So now this Sunday, we've got the New Orleans Saints. And we're at home, right?
Yes, we are. We are at home at a 10 o'clock start.
And the Saints, who were supposed to beat the Giants and couldn't do it at home, that was kind of surprising.
That was surprising.
Let's talk about that. This is a team that's this is not the old Saints. I think they're still trying to find themselves on offense. They still don't have their star receiver. Michael Thomas isn't back. That's hurting them. Mm-hmm. They don't, Alvin Kamara ran a lot. He didn't catch one pass, which is really weird. Yeah. So they didn't utilize him much, and they kind of got, I would say they used both quarterbacks.
They do. Taysom Hill and Famous Jameis.
And I'm just not a big fan of that, because I think quarterbacks, like running backs, they just want the ball so they can get in a groove and they can find themselves. And I just, guy comes in, guy comes out. I mean, Drew Brees was able to do it. Drew Brees was a pro. He'd been doing it forever. No big deal to him, but so anyway, I think there's a little bit going on there. So their quarterback situation's not great. Their receiver situation's not great. For them, though, positives, they do have Alvin Kamara. Yeah. If we thought Cordell Patterson was tough to cover, this guy is a real dynamo. If we better be ready for him, because if they're going to try and throw the ball to him after what Cordell did. So he's really good. And their defense is actually pretty darn good. They got beat on 2 big plays by the Giants. Yeah, that's what hurt them. And so it wasn't that they were getting run all over the field, because they're a really good. They're very consistent everywhere along. From the line to the linebackers to their DBs, they do a good job. They got beat on 2 big plays, and that's kind of what killed them. And they don't have a dynamic offense to come back from that. I don't think we can rely on just getting big plays. So we're going to have to play tough. This defense will challenge us. They're pretty darn good. But we're kind of coming at a right time with Heineke coming into his own.
Yes.
And the receivers. So, but that's their main thing. Their defense is solid. Alvin Kamara is a dynamic player that you have to look out for. And I think maybe that's what the Giants did, because there's hardly anyone to respect on the outside. They don't even have a dynamic tight end. I got Troutman; he's okay. So you're able to box Kamara in. Anytime he goes out, I think they're able to chip him, hit him, single up everybody else. There's no one else that has to have help over the top. There's no one else like that. So it'll be interesting for our coaches to watch what the Giants did, because I think that's what they did. They went out of their way to really say, hey, we're not going to let Kamara beat us. But he did run well. I think he had 127 yards running. So, he's like J.D. McKissick. If J.D. McKissick had to run 16 times, he'd do it. And you can't do that to him every week. But, Alvin Kamara could run the ball. So we got to watch that guy and then just be ready for that defense. It is a good defense.
Yes. And then, you got to watch Taysom Hill is going to hold it, throw it, run it. He's like a quarterback, running back type. So that's hard to do. I think we got some practice with Cordarrelle Patterson this past week, though, which is kind of a blessing to come up against Kamara.
Exactly. Because didn't they get better at the, as the game progressed? They adjusted to him a little bit.
Yeah. They were forcing the Falcons to run it to the other side of the field. We were shutting down that left-hand side of the field, and Mike Davis was trying, and he's a big dude. Dude, one of his legs is big around as my torso, dude. That guy's a monster. His one touchdown, you showed him. I mean, Bobby McCain bounced off him. Them guys were bouncing off him. They rolled into the thing. So, but yeah, we shut them down on that left-hand side. So that was another growing arc that we had. And I think they can do that against the Saints as well. You start figuring out what stopped him. And then they do something to figure you out. And then you just stop that as well. And just keep working it, squeezing it towards the end of the game till you can shut that stuff down. And then you can use your offense to make those winning scores to win the game. For us now, being as young as we are, it seems like we are growing within the game.
I think so.
Relying on the fact that we learn through the game, shut these guys down, go in at halftime, squeeze, and then make it happen. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait.
They are getting
the home
younger.
crowd.
Yeah. That'll be really good. And I'm excited. That's one thing we never touched on it was a big win, but it was a big win on the road. Thank goodness, because at Buffalo, they looked a little overwhelmed. So it was good to see him go on the road and do good. So
in Buffalo, though, I mean, to our own, we get a pass. They just slaughtered Houston. At least we put up a fight.
I know.
They just
40-0.
That's
I
tough.
know.
No, we at least scored some points. Made it legit for a little bit.
It's tough to shut out any team in the NFL. I don't care who they are. Mm-hmm. It's tough to shut out a team. That's not an easy thing to do. Boy, they did it. So, well, okay. So let's look at the past. Let's look at our predictions. How did we do? I'm thinking 3-0 for the first. I think for the first time, you and me.
Oh, you're 3-1.
I mean, for 1 week, you and I and AI all. I think did we all agree on a win?
No. He picked them. He picked the Falcons. That's right.
He just can't go along to get along, no matter what.
We were 3-0, I think, last week.
Oh, okay. That must
because me and him called the win. Yeah.
I can't remember how we did it. Might have been I think it was the Giants. You're right. I think it was the Giants game. Yeah.
And then you got last week right, and we got that wrong.
Yeah, I didn't want to be right, but damn it, I was.
Well, you were. That's okay. We understand that you gave good reasons why. That's all good by us here. So, but yeah, last week I think me and you got it right, and he got it wrong. So, but I think across the board, I'm 2-2. AI is 2-2, but you are 3-1.
Yeah. I think that Buffalo game was the tipping point. So, well, let's talk about predictions. I'm just going to go right out and say we're going to get a win. I think we're coming into our own. I think the team's tightening up. I think New Orleans is still trying to figure themselves out. A little bit of disarray there. You have to play their first home games in Jacksonville because of the problems in New Orleans with that hurricane, wiped out electricity. That kind of threw them off. I thought coming home to play would be great. It wasn't enough. Couldn't even beat the Giants, who are, middle of the road team, but not a great team. So I'm not so sure. I'm not sure where they're at. And they have to come up and play in our house. So I'm going with the win, and I'm kind of looking at 24-14.
Oh, very good. Very nice. Of course, I'm going to say a win. The score, that's a tough one for me. Yeah, I always think games are going to be low scoring. I just do, especially if teams struggle on their offense, but they got a good defense. Obviously, you're going to stop the other team, and you're not going to score as much yourself. So I think lower. So, but I'm still going to go, win for us, and I'm just going to say it's going to be close.
There you go.
So that's the best thing. All these games are always close, so I almost think they're designed like that. But so all right. Wait,
we almost forgot.
We almost forgot. So it's a win for you. It's a win for me, and we're gonna go to AI right now.
Let's do AI.
You can see I changed my thing a little bit here, so we're gonna dump it on the floor for this one.
Good deal. All right, man. Well, look. We're going to go the usual. It's going to be heads for the Washington football team, tails for the Saints.
Okay, so I'm going to let this one hit the floor.
All right, let the bodies hit the floor.
It is a heads.
Wow.
Heads, ladies and gentlemen. Very good.
Boy, oh boy. Well. AI came around, so there you go. Scrubber set. Well, good job, man. So we're all in the same boat. We're all predicting a win.
Yeah.
So hey, let's talk about the schedule. Obviously, the game is going to be 1:00 Eastern.
1:00 Eastern, correct.
So that's great. So that'll be on. I'm going to actually be able to get the game here in Dallas, so I'll be watching that.
Yeah.
And special announcement now, you're going to be doing a live stream.
Yes. We're going to be doing the live reaction show like we did last week.
Good.
It was a lot of fun. We had eight concurrent people watching towards the end of the game. And I just want to thank all those people for being there. That was a lot of fun. Please come back. Very helpful in the chat room. And this time around, BH is back home from his little vacation, and he's going to be in there and helping me out on my end too, so he can monitor what's going on there with you guys. So
get in
the
hope to see you guys. Yeah, Goran was in there. That was great to see Goran was back. And this time, had a nice little vacation. I'm back, and I'll have the game on, and I'll be in the chat room, so I'll be able to talk things up. I'll let you know what I'm seeing on the screen.
Yeah, helpful.
Yeah.
And all you guys jump in there too. I don't care if you're ahead of me.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What the heck? So, it's just designed for, I don't get the game here in Seattle. So I'm going to just call it play-by-play as we're going to be following it on the Yahoo little graphic that they have. So that's who I'll be following it, refreshing it, to try and just keep up to the pace with BH helping us in the back.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. Everyone get in there, and we'll talk, and hopefully have a lot of good stuff to talk about, answer any questions.
Yeah. Feel free to ask us questions, any of that kind of stuff. I felt like I filled the time in pretty
good. Then the only other thing to announce is just kind of our usual schedule, which is probably we'll be back out with the show next Wednesday or Thursday, probably, right?
Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday. Those are good. I'm in no rush to make those happen. It may have to wait if I want to put some all 22 in. I might have to wait until the NFL puts that out on Game Pass. They still haven't put it out today. Injury reports and stuff like that come out on Thursday. So if we bump it to a Thursday, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yeah, it'd be nice to, do some all 22.
Yeah, they just didn't have it out yet today. So
yeah, just even if we could just kind of break down a couple plays, I think it'd be fun for the people watching, be fun for us, just some key plays. So yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed that we can get some all 22 on here. I think people would really enjoy that.
Yeah. Well,
good. All right, man. Good show.
Yeah. I don't think we have anything else to cover, do we?
No.
All right. Well, we're 2-2 in our division. If you want to talk about a couple division things.
Yeah.
Dallas is
3-1.
3-1. We're 2-2, and the other two teams are whatever they are.
Yeah. So I think, and right now, I think Dallas at this point is looking like the team to beat. Their offense was always going to be good. They did improve on defense. So, but it's really early in the season. All the Washington football team has to worry about is just winning games.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on that division too, just to make sure we're staying close.
Yeah. And as we get going,
everybody, go ahead.
Yeah. I was say as we get going too, it'd be fun as we get going. We'll really kind of see how the playoffs are shaking out.
Yeah.
Wild cards are shaking out.
Yeah.
Be able to kind of track all that. So, yep. It'll be great.
Thank you all so much. See you next time.
See ya.